it costs for, you know, a government-controlled healthcare system. Well, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I'll just say this about the government-controlled healthcare. For those of you who know, I ran the velodrome for 10 years. Last year we had a rider from Canada crash, a young guy, 19 years old, junior world champion, really good rider. He crashed at high speed, was knocked out, punctured lung, broken collarbone, head trauma. I had him in the Lehigh Valley Health Network Hospital for 5 days. They got him out of his coma. They were fixing him up. The Canadian team was getting ready to leave to go back home in the van. His parents called me, and they cried on the phone. They said, "Do not send him back to Canada." I said, "Why? It's his home. He will not. He'll have to go to the end of the line, and he's not going to get the care he needs." I mean, this is a young man in his prime, head trauma, busted up, really, really bad, lung tubes, and his parents were crying on the phone. Do not send him back. We will come down there and get him, but keep him in, and he was at Lehigh Valley Health Network. Keep him in there getting the care that he's getting. I talked to the brain surgeon at the time as well, and he said, "Marty, it's true. You know, he's not going to get the care that he has right here. This is important stuff. We need to keep him here as long as we can." Unfortunately, Lehigh Valley Health Network probably absorbed most of the bills, but he got the care that he was needed. But that's the type of system up there, a government-run, controlled healthcare system that people who are living it, I didn't believe it until I heard it from themselves. They were crying on the phone. And they came down and got him 5 days later and drove him back home when he was fully recovered. But they said, absolutely not. It's going to be very difficult for him to get seen and get the care that he needs. So, another thing that's going to disappear, I believe, with government-controlled healthcare is the R&D. This country, you know, we are finding cures for everything. Yeah, we are finding cures for everything. So all of a sudden, it's going to get government-controlled. And we're lucky right here in the state of Pennsylvania, the southeast region. You know, it's world leader in finding cures for diseases. We want to keep that. We want to keep that going. We have some incredible minds here, and all of a sudden, if it's government-controlled healthcare, that's going to stop.
You know, if I can, just along the lines of healthcare as well, I think that we hear a lot that the Republicans are going to do away with pre-existing conditions, which is not what I'm hearing, but that's what I think is being publicized. What's your position on that, and what would you say about that?
Well, I think we've all seen the commercials. We've seen the flyers that say, "I'm going to take away your health care. I'm going to, take away pre-existing conditions." Furthest thing from the truth. I've stood on stage and I've said it from day one: affordable, accessible health care to everybody. That means people with pre-existing conditions. I support House Bill 1121, the Pre-Existing Conditions Act of 2017. It's exactly what it says. It protects pre-existing conditions. To me, it's an absolute scare tactic they're trying to run. I think a lot of people are starting to realize this isn't true. And I laugh because here I am, Marty Nothstein, who's a Olympic gold medalist, car wash owner, farmer, and I'm getting accused of being able to take away somebody's health care. I didn't know that was possible as somebody who works hard every single day, but it's a scare tactic. It's something that the other side is using. I will say, I think most people realize that it's false. The Washington Post did an article just the other day, and the Washington Post will grade certain commercials, and they gave the pre-existing condition commercials 4 Pinocchios out of 4 Pinocchios. It just shows you how false those ads are. They're misleading. It's a smoke and mirror type campaign. It's trying to scare people, but it's absolutely not true. Myself included, I will not do anything to touch pre-existing conditions. I've also said I will fight to make sure that children can stay in their parents' health care plans till they're 26. These are smart things to do. These are things that we're going to protect, something I'm going to protect as well.
Why do you consider, or do you, should I maybe ask it that way, do you consider pre-existing conditions health part of the insurance or healthcare? Right now it's kind of all lumped into one. Could you clear up how you would separate pre-existing conditions, which is actually just a form of giving somebody something who, like if your house burns down, that argument, your house burns down and then you sign up for insurance asking companies to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, again, I think with medical records, and that's one way that's going to be figured out. But I think that's what you're trying to ask. So you're saying how do you go from, if somebody does have pre-existing condition and hiding it maybe, or?
Well, are you gonna put the burden on an insurance company, or are you gonna make some kind of plan where
Well,
insurance
absolutely,
companies
it's gotta be
don't
that.
have to take the hit for something that was beyond their control?
Well, that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Healthcare has risen 123% in the last 4 years. I was at an event the other day, and the lady said, Marty, my healthcare was $300 some 4 years ago, and then it went to $600, and then went to $800, and now it's just $1,300 for one individual. If you'd have told me 5, 6, 7 years ago that your healthcare is going to cost more than a mortgage, I would have said, I don't think that's possible. Well, that's what's happening, and it's got to stop. But it's definitely an issue that we need to take a look at, keeping healthcare, as I said, accessible and affordable for everybody.
So Marty, thanks for coming first off.
Thank you.
Secondly, so it's again healthcare, right? So what is the answer though? I mean, we have a small business that we pay somewhere around $3,000 for our family, and it's obviously a lot of money. But
Per month.
Per month,
yeah.
yes, per month. That is per month. And it's not a great plan, by the way.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, what do you do? What is the solution?
Yeah. Well, the Affordable Care Act, really left us stranded here. I mean, it didn't do anything it said it was going to do. How about opening up to competition? How about opening up health insurance across state lines? These are good things. Create competition. Let them work for our business. We all know how that works in this country, right? Somebody wants your business, they're going to work hard for it. We also got to figure out the real cost of health care. I've been a doctor that runs a private practice, and we had the same conversation. Actually, I'll give you 2 stories. I met one doctor who has a private practice. First off, let me go to the other story. I met a doctor, I said, what do I tell people about the cost of health care? He said, well, Marty, everyone's making money off of it. Everyone's making money. I said, well, that's a terrible answer, because we're paying a lot of money. So when I'm paying $3,000 a month, you're saying, well, the reason it's so high is because everyone's making a lot of money. That doesn't sit well with me. So wrong answer by this doctor. Then I met another doctor who owns a private practice. And he said, Marty, if you want to come and get an MRI in my clinic or his office, he says $600. If you go to one of the big hospitals, it's $3,600. So we got to figure out the real cost of health care. I mean, that's something that's going to be very important as well. Figure out the real cost. Health insurance companies, they do have a little bit of a monopoly on certain things. Open it up the competition. Let people sell health insurance across state lines. That's going to drive down the costs, number one.
Tim Silky's made a statement that the LASIX is still privately funded, and
Right.
that's something
Totally.
where capitalism
Yeah.
has been a force in the medical field, and it's lowered the price and increased and it's been perfected.
Absolutely, and the same doctor that has his own private clinic, he thinks you should be a little. So not everyone has dental insurance. So if you go and get your teeth fixed, you pay the visit, the office visit, whatever it is, $90, $100, $150. I'm sure it ranges. He thinks it should be like that for regular checkups, and then you have a catastrophic type insurance. So these are people who are in the business, thinking about every single day, have some good ideas. What we need to do is have a discussion with these folks and figure out what's best and what suits us best. Because we're the ones flipping the bill. We're the ones getting the high deductible, as you said, not the greatest care insurance policies for a lot of money.
So my question is, so what, I mean, there is a chance, obviously, that that the Republicans could lose Congress to some degree, right? I mean, we'll know in 5 days, I guess. But so what are the odds that something can actually get done, and what would somebody like yourself be able to do? I guess is my question.
Well, same thing I've done as Lehigh County Commissioner. You got to get people around the table. You got to have a discussion. You got to figure out what your constituents want. And you have a discussion. You got to make hard choices. Driving down the health care is going to be a priority. I think everybody in Congress understands that. The problem is you have 435 people with probably 435 ideas. Look how you start taking pieces out of it. Well, why don't we open up to being able to sell insurance across state lines? Listen, if we can get the votes for that, that's a great step to driving down health care. And then you start chipping away at it. So I said, I did the same thing as Lehigh County Commissioner. First time I was elected, I sat there, and we sat at the dais. I'm sitting there as a new commissioner. They don't give you a manual of what to do or say. I mean, you just sit there and you just kind of jump in and figure out what they're talking about. They were talking about things that were going on for 5, 6, 7 years, truly. And I thought, how embarrassing is this? These are elected officials not getting things done. Well, after a while, people start coming to the commissioner meetings and they start talking and saying, we're losing faith in you, make a decision, one of them being Cedar Brook or nursing home. So when I was voted as chair the following year, I told myself, we're not going to just kick the can down the road anymore. In Cedar Brook, they talked about for 7 years. What are we going to do with Cedar Brook? Do nothing? Tear it down? Build brand new? Sell it? Why didn't I like hearing any of those options? Because I thought, well, this is our nursing home. A little bit of an outdated facility, 5-star quality care, so we have a great product. And we have a lot of county workers there who depend every single day on showing up, working hard, and getting a paycheck. So my first meeting, I gathered everybody around, said we need to come up with a consensus on Cedar Brook. What do we want? And I said it ranged from $200 million, brand new, best nursing home in the entire country, to sell it. Well, by the end of it, and it didn't take very long, it took about 5 months, we came up with 3 options. We had everybody around the table, from administration to Cedar Brook, county commissioners, everybody that mattered. And then we came up with the plan. At that point, we came up with the consensus. And that's how you get things done, as I said. It's just, right now in this environment in politics as well, there's such partisan anger and gridlock that people like you, people like me, people like everybody here are the ones who sometimes lose. They'd rather see each other side lose than the American people win, and that gets frustrating. I didn't do that as a county commissioner. I won't do it as a congressman as well. I'll go down there and fight hard every single day, make sure we get things accomplished.
I think it's the Fitzpatrick, the last statistic I saw, the House of Rep down in Philadelphia suburbs. Right now, that race is generating more money than the Senate race in Pennsylvania. That's the amount of money going into that race. How do we get, I feel with outside money coming into even this district, I don't have nearly to say as these people from outside who are flooding money in here. How do you stop that?
That's a great question. Here's a huge difference between me and my opponent. So the race in Philadelphia, which is the new District 1, I believe both sides spent about $15 million on each other. It's a lot of money. So here, I raised nearly $1 million here in our district. I did. My opponent received $5 million. Less than 15% of it came from the state of Pennsylvania. So that's where it's at. So I know who I'm going to serve when I go to Congress. It's going to be everybody in this room. I know who I'm going to serve when I go to Congress. It's be the constituents of this area. And when you're funded like that, like what's happening in the Pennsylvania 1 district, what's happening to my opponent, yeah, you're a rubber stamp of what they say, because they just bought you. So if someone's going to invest $5 million in your race, you're not going to go down there and tell them what to do. They're going to tell you exactly what to do. And $1 million of that dollars came from Nancy Pelosi, by the way, against me. Again, as a guy who just works a family farm, built a small business, raced a bicycle, I didn't know I was such a valuable figure, and somebody that can do so many things, which are complete untruths, and so much money be hit on me, spent on me.
But are there any ideas of how to stop that? Because if I was running, I'd probably take that money. I think you'd probably take that money too. And that's the dilemma. That for me is the crux of the issue. We're in a system that we got to do something different.
Well, you choose who you can take money from. You can send money back. You can send money back, and I have. And you can send money back. The best thing, and I've said this on stage, if it was up to me, it would be you only can take money from the people within your district. That's it. That's it. And if there's a big corporation in your district and they can write, and federally you can write $2,700 checks unless big PACs come in. So as an individual, you can write $2,700 to a candidate. That's a lot of $207,000 checks to get to $5, $6, $10, $15 million. But to me, it would be only fundraising within your district. Those bounds. Within all the zip codes, within all the boundaries. That's what it truly comes down to, true campaign finance. And you should also be limited to do it on what you can as an individual. There's a lot of people that put millions of dollars of their own money in. And that's what's happening in Philadelphia as well. I believe Scott Wallace and Fitzpatrick are running against each other. Scott Wallace is a very, very wealthy man. So people like that, they can write $2 million checks all day long and fund their campaign. I couldn't do that. So somebody like that could come into a race and just self-fund and put damage on somebody who's really trying to work hard to raise every dollar to get the message out there. So it needs to be fixed, and I would say keeping it within your district, number one, and you can only let's say you can only write yourself a $100,000 check, whatever that number is, but something reasonable where a millionaire can't come in and just hammer the average working class guy. who wants to run for office and who's a good candidate and will serve you. But it's a problem. I mean, the amount of money, and I'll tell you folks, I'm new to this. So, newly elected county commissioner 3 years ago, I had no idea what these things cost. I had no idea how much money these things take. I knew a little bit, but yeah, to realize these, there's people willing to spend, one of them right here in district, my opponent, $5 million to win this seat. That money's coming from Massachusetts, New York City, Hollywood, San Francisco. An email went out the other day from Martin Sheen on her behalf. Martin Sheen, a Hollywood actor, he played the president in some show I didn't see. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Have you seen the email? And all I thought was, that could be the furthest from what happens here in the Lehigh Valley. Who can relate to Martin Sheen and the fictional president of the United States? But donate money. I mean, that's where you lose control. As I mentioned earlier, I am from the Lehigh Valley. My family is here. They've been here for 5 generations. I had an opportunity to live and train anywhere, places where it was a lot warmer. I always came back here because of the people, because it's my home, because I care so dearly about it. For me, serving the community has been the most incredible honor of my life, and I want to continue it at a higher level in Congress. I've term limited myself, by the way. I don't want to make a career out of it. I want to go 4 terms, 8 years, good enough for the presidency of the United States. It should be good for any congressman. And that's another thing you can get out of it. Don't make careers out of things. I'm the only candidate who's term limited himself. I'm the only candidate who promised not to take a taxpayer government pension as well. I'm not doing it for those reasons. I'm doing it to go down there, make a difference, make sure you have representation in Washington, D.C., and somebody you can trust, somebody who's going to deliver. I've done that as a county commissioner. I can do it as a congressman, but I need to get there.
3 things. Number 1, thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Number 2, please introduce the campaign finance reform bills along the lines of what you just spoke of when you get to Washington.
I would love to, absolutely.
I asked this question of Tim last night, so I'll ask it of you. This is an editorial cartoon that was in yesterday's Express Times. It has 6 people around a nondescript building, obviously police or healthcare, or law enforcement officers, some of them are. And it has a family standing there. And the caption is that an office, a church, a synagogue, a movie theater, a newspaper, a concert hall, or a school? So my question is, what can you do and what can Congress do to reduce the level of gun violence in the United States?
Yeah, well, it's a shame that we now live in a society that, we need protection almost everywhere we go. As a county commissioner, this is a perfect example. When we're talking about school safety and schools. I said, as a county commissioner, a part-time county commissioner, by the way, and I'm in my office maybe once or twice a week, you have to go through an x-ray machine. You have to go past 2 armed guards. You have to go through a metal detector just to come to my office. But we're going to let people go into schools undetected as something that's wrong. So we need to make places a lot safer. Now I am for the Second Amendment. I'm 100% behind the Second Amendment. I'm an NRA life member. I believe that you have a right to defend yourself. I grew up hunting and fishing. I shoot competitively. So to me, firearms have always been around me. Owning and operating a farm, we use firearms. But the idea that we now live in such a dangerous society that you have to be fearful, kids have to be fearful to go to school, is something that's very, very sad. So what I do with schools is I create schools like airports. Did you say yes? Somebody say yay? Yes, okay. You create, make a school like an airport. Make them that safe. I mean, that's what we need to protect our kids. And teachers. I have teachers who tell me they're scared as well to go to school. But right now, we're living in a society with this. Mental health issues are a big deal. We need to, provide more funding for mental health issues. We need to make sure people who who should not have firearms get firearms. But if you're a law-abiding citizen and you go through the proper channels, I think owning a firearm is your right to protect yourself. But right now, and that's a good cartoon there, and it's unfortunately a sad cartoon.
However, what is your take on automatic bump stock thing to,
Automatic-
make regular,
Yeah, automatic rifles are illegal. Nobody show them an automatic rifle. Nobody show them an automatic rifle. That's illegal.
but people are buying them still at the gun shops and so forth, aren't they?
Well, if it's a fully automatic rifle, they should go to jail. If they don't want them. Absolutely. Yeah.
But bump stocks, you said bump stock?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I agree with the NRA. Bump stock should be banned. Yeah, bump stock should be banned.
But yet somehow the 3D bump stocks are still being allowed to be shown.
The what?
The
3D?
Yeah, the 3D bump stocks that are being shown, like how to do it on the internet.
Oh,
People
printing,
printing them.
yeah.
That hasn't been, they were supposedly going to take that off, and now it's still there.
They should take it off again. You know, I agree with the NRA. If bump stocks make a weapon fully automatic, they should be illegal. So, I was not aware of the 3D printing. Is that what you were talking about? Yeah, of the bump stocks, but that shouldn't be allowed as well. And I think everybody's fully behind that. I shouldn't say everybody. There's probably some people who aren't, but again, 98% of people would probably agree with that. But the bump stocks, as the NRA, who's a leader in this, are against bump stocks as well.
And then the other question I wanted to ask relates to education. I'm a school counselor in Hellertown School District, and the inequity between the way schools are funded through taxes, like Hellertown is like $25 million or whatever. Last year they were $25 million in the hole. Part of the reason is that they don't get the same amount of taxes as some place that has a better economy in it. And we, of course, have many difficult children with lots of different IEPs and things that we have to cover, and no money to cover half the stuff.
Yeah, and you have a lot of stuff. I'll talk about education. So, what you're talking about is really a state issue. It's not a federal issue, but I'll tell you where I am on education. So, I'm 100% for public school education. I came through public schools. I support public school teachers. The unions don't want you to know that, but I am 100% on board with public schools. And I'm the only candidate that has a vision. When we talk about kids in Allentown, 30% of the kids that enter 9th grade in the city of Allentown never graduate, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And I just learned this about a year ago. 30% of the kids who enter 9th grade in the city of Allentown School District end up not
I
graduating.
think it's maybe higher than that, actually.
It could possibly.
Allen, I think maybe Deerfield is 30, but I think
Yeah.
Allen is higher.
So what do they do? Well, I think we all know what they do. They go to the streets, probably get in a little bit of trouble, try to make a living doing something, buy something illegal. Is bad. That's not good. So I have full faith in our teachers. They're doing the right things. They're teaching them as much as they can. So what I said, and I sat down with several business leaders, I said, what about us creating an education center, a sports center, a community center? I said, just think of this place, $10 million investment where kids can go to after school and they can learn a skill, they can learn a trade, they can learn how to read at a young age, they can learn a sport. Imagine learning how to box in Larry Holmes. Imagine how to, throw a football or something from one of our stars in the area. Run it through mentorship programs. Now, $10 million is a lot of money, but this is a program that's absolutely going to change people's lives. And what I said to our community or to our business leaders, because I hear there's this incredible workforce shortage. Marty, we need electricians, we need plumbers, we need painters, we need carpenters. We can't find these people. Well, what about training them ourselves? Well, how would you do that? We're going to have a vibrant community center where you can train your own workforce. You know what I said? He said, well, that's a great idea. We could send people over to teach them HVAC. We're going to send people over and show them how to lay carpet. We're going to show people how to, make walls and lay drywall. We're going to teach people how to be electricians. This is all the business leaders telling me this. We're in. We're absolutely in. And I said, these are kids from Allentown. So imagine if you're 9th, 10th grade, you're struggling, you really don't like school, and all of a sudden you say, well, I can go to the community center and I'm going to have a mentorship program. I'm going to have an apprentice there waiting for me who's going to teach me a skill. It's going to teach me a trade. And I'm going to get paid. And then when I graduate, there's going to be a job waiting for me. So we don't have to go out there and start looking for people. They're going to be developed right in our backyard. So a $10 million investment in one phone call became $9 million. That quick. Because they also don't like to hear 30% of our kids Like I said, these are our kids. It's the Lehigh Valley. These are our kids. 30% of our kids aren't graduating. Now let's give them a brighter future. Let's make sure there's a job waiting for them. Because there's a lot of jobs out there. And if we can fill them and teach these kids a trade that can last forever, I think that's a big home run. So education's big to me, getting kids involved in programs like that, showing them a brighter future, giving them an opportunity to succeed, because a lot of times I think they're not given that opportunity to succeed. I'll also explain real quick about a program I developed in downtown Allentown. It's called the Gear Up Academy. Again, I'll go back and talk about running the velodrome. We have incredible community programs at the velodrome. Majority of them are free of charge for kids. That's how I got involved. And what I said was, well, we do such a great program. We put hundreds of kids through these programs every year, but they're coming to our facility, and they're getting on their bikes and they're riding around there, and the coaches are there waiting for them. What if we take the programs to the kids? Well, how are we going to do that? Well, again, it goes back to, getting everybody together, having discussions, making a decision, and then running with it, not stopping until it's done. Well, I created the Gear Up Academy, which runs out of PPL Center, where I partner with Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Police Athletic League. I'm forgetting 2 or 3 other ones as well. But where the kids came in, and we trained them on stationary bikes and spin bikes. And not everybody wants to be a bicycle racer. They just want, better quality of life. I want something after school. And it was such an incredible program, because the first time I had the kids in there, we had 12 of them on spin bikes. I said, Mister, what are we going to do today? And I said, well, this is who I am, this is what I've accomplished, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to ride 6 miles today on the stationary bike. Mister, you're crazy, I can't ride 6 miles. I said, I promise you, you can ride 6 miles. Well, they did, no problem. By the end of the program, 6-week program, they were riding 40 miles on the bikes, didn't want to get off, wanted to go back to the program. And as you deal with the kids there, early on, they didn't like cheering each other on, kind of very standoffish. By the end, there was this team morale feeling. It was energizing for them, and it was incredibly energizing for me, because it's one of the best programs I ever developed, and one I'm very, very proud of. So I've taken those programs to kids in the inner cities, and the leaders of the organizations that we partnered with and said, Marty, you made incredible difference in these kids. Incredible difference. And sometimes it's just giving them that opportunity to succeed, and they'll succeed. So that's what I want to do. And again, as a congressman, I'll be able to get that project off the ground really fast.
Stance on abortion.
Yeah, I'm a pro-life candidate. So for me, watching the birth of my 2 children, it's the most incredible thing in my life. Most incredible thing in my life. And I won some pretty big races, some pretty cool races, but watching the birth of my children was just something that's amazing.
Bill?
We've got how much time?
5 more minutes. Yeah. Ready?
I value my vote. I feel like it's one of the basic rights and privileges. Personally, when I hear about voter fraud and people poo-poo that and say, oh no, that doesn't happen, that's a lie. And you don't have to look very far to see it. You have a guy that has 18 voter registrations trying to get names on them and putting them out there. That's 18 people who their vote doesn't count. Plus it's, dependent on how they voted. And it seems like nobody's really doing it. We had a voter ID thing here, but it was shot down, so they shoved us up. That's one of the most simple things that anybody, I would feel insulting if somebody told me I wasn't smart enough to go down and get my ID card. That's insulting. So, and you're dead.
Yeah, it's something that does happen, and as a candidate who fights for every single vote, to know that somebody can get 18 votes is something that's very frustrating. It's simple. Voter ID to me. This is a simple fix. Show your ID. Let us know who you are. Let's make sure that the voting system, which is very important, as you said, it's one of the greatest rights. Isn't taken advantage of. But I would support voter ID every single day. That's a common sense thing that needs to happen.
We try it.
And Republican judge pushed it down.
Yeah.
Is that right?
But also at the same time, you need to make sure people get their IDs, and we provide IDs. Again, at Lehigh County, if you're a military vet, we provide IDs for vets, for discount programs, things like that. Because a lot of times vets don't have their IDs. Am I right or wrong with that? Yeah. So we'll do everything we can to make sure people. If you want an ID, we'll get you one in Lehigh County. Yeah.
Does he have to leave?
I'm sorry, I've got to be a bad guy, I got to
Okay,
yank him
well,
out.
and
He'll
this
talk
is-
all night.
No, this is how I like to end, and this is just a shout out from everyone. What, if he is elected, what is your first concern? What do you want him to pay attention to?
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout it out.
Budget minus deficit?
Yep, budget deficit. Yeah, we haven't had a budget in a long time, have we? Yeah.
Other issues
And again, they need to stop.
that are priority?
And they need to
Education,
stop with continued resolutions
Okay, hold
and
on.
omnibus spending bills, and that's gonna end.
healthcare,
Yeah.
border safety,
Illegal immigration.
illegal immigration,
Get out of the Middle East.
get out of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Now-
I said we're in wars we don't belong in.
But I also like to end on a positive note, and that is, what is the best of American culture and America that will help us solve those problems? How do you answer that? Come on, what is the best of America that is going to solve this? That you perceive, that we have within us? Hard work, ingenuity,
How about communication? How about communicating between parties?
morality,
Working together.
There you go.
working together. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you. In closing, I'll just say this. You know, I think this is a great conversation. Thank you for listening to me. I'm fighting hard every single day. I truly want to be your next congressman. As I said, I'm going to go down there, get things done, be a congressman, be proud of a congressman you can count on. Congressmen won't forget anybody in this district. As I said, I'm going to make sure we do the right thing for everybody, all the people in this district. So thank you for having me. Love you all. Have a great night. I want to stay and talk all night. He knows that. He knows that. I would stay and talk all night.
It's nice to get to your commitments on time.
I was on time here.
I know, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, it is.